Hello, my name is Jimmy, and this is the 2022 Volvo XC60 T8 Recharge. I know it's basically 2023 already, if not very close to it. And this is, yes, a 2022 model. But for 2022 and 2023, there's minimal differences. Prices increased, obviously, but they also changed like the trim levels. There's no like Momentum inscription anymore. It's like Core Plus and something else that I can't remember. Or it's Core something and something else. Anyways, it's just trim changes, but it's still 3 different levels. Very, very similar to what it was before. You get some new wheels and whatnot as well. But before we go for a drive, I did do a full review of the XC60 B6, which I actually really liked, and you can check that out in whatever corner that pops out from. But yeah, this video is all about the T8, the Recharge. Is it worth it? So let's go over all the specs first. This specific model is priced at 89,575 Canadian dollars. The XC60 B6 that I had previously, that was priced at $75,650. So the difference is about $14,000. With that, you get more power, 455 total horsepower, and of course you get that electrical range at 58 kilometers or about 35 miles. Comparing to the regular XC60 T6, you only get 295 horsepower. Yes, it's quicker, but do you really need that? And are you going to be using all the power? Because if you're just using the electric motors on the XC60 Recharge, well, you only get 143 horsepower and 228 pound-feet of torque from that electrical motor that's mounted in the rear axle. So is it worth it? Well, that's hard to say. I'm at about half my battery range because I drove into Vancouver here. But unlike other plug-in hybrids, this engine doesn't need to fire up almost ever, unless you like stomp on it. The system itself, it's able to heat the cabin, use the heated seats, defrost front and the rear windows with the engine completely off. The Kia and Hyundai products, they can't do that. So it's definitely a plus. But let's go for a drive here. With just the electrical motor that's propelling the vehicle, you don't get as much power, but in city streets, you barely feel it. The amount of torque that it has, it's sufficient. So everyday drives, it's more than enough. One thing I did find is because this does have the newer Google kind of integrated system here, I don't have a way to turn off stability control like I did previously. So while yes, this is a rear drive electrical Volvo at the moment, I can't have fun with it because I can't turn off the stability control. I mean, there's no like sun or snow. It's no sun. There's tons of sun, but there's no snow or anything like that to make the ground a little bit more slippery for me to have a little bit more fun. But anyways, I digress. How does it feel day to day? It's very quiet because it's fully electric right now. You don't hear anything. There's a little bit of wind noise, but it's quite minimal. There's a little bit of road noise, but also quite minimal. When the engine does fire up, it's pretty quiet until you go like full throttle. That's when it is a 4-cylinder after all, so it's a little clatty. It's just not the best sounding engine when you, are on the full power that it can kind of deliver. But, you know, if you're just accelerating or just using a little bit of that hybrid system, it honestly isn't too bad. I don't think it's intrusive at all. However, it just goes back to the price point. About 15,000 Canadian dollar difference between this and the B6. It's really hard to say. I mean, if you're looking at it as, you know, just in terms of fuel economy, just how it can save you money, I don't think you're going to save $15,000 worth of fuel in its lifetime. I mean, you might, depending on how far you drive and whatnot, but if it's in the city and you're just, you know, commuting, like, you know, just within even the electrical range, even with the price of fuel the way that it is right now, I just don't think you're going to really just make back that difference. You're going to have to see this T8 as a higher level. Not only can it save you fuel, but it's also higher performance. And it does have that. It delivers really good power. So you have to think of it as it's not only fuel efficient, but also high performance. And if you're really wanting a high performance vehicle like this, would you be looking at a Volvo? Or would you be looking maybe at the X3? Because honestly, that's a much better performing vehicle. So it's really hard to say. Personally, I would probably stick with the V6 engine just simply because it's simpler, there's less things to go wrong. It's a very smooth powertrain as well. Sure, I use a little bit more fuel. I think in the city, that's rated for 11 point something liters for 100 kilometers, whereas this is 8.5. So yes, it's a little bit worse, but I mean, I just don't feel like for the amount of money, you're getting much more than what it's worth. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what your thoughts are of the T8 in the comment section down below. I mean, like I said, it's the beauty of having both propulsion systems, right? You have the electrical system if you need it, and you have the regular internal combustion engine when you need that. So you have both. But is it worth that 15,000, 14,000 Canadian dollar difference? I don't know. You tell me. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Nice and short one today. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. Take care.